Did we switch over? Yep. Okay, we're good. What's going on, Violet? What's going on, Gary? Good morning, or for most of you guys, it's gonna be good afternoon. It is 11 a.m. over here in the west coast of the U.S. It is. We're doing an earlier stream today because I did not have a D&D game or Pathfinder game last night. Violet. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's 9:02 p.m. Oh, good evening for you. So yeah, we're going to continue on some work on the Reaver, formerly known as Dreadnought. Last time we worked on this, we were attempting to get some subclasses done, but what I was figuring out as I was attempting, as you can see here as I'm scrolling down, what I was attempting to do with some of the features, we're finding out that Dreadblow and its current iteration conflicts with some things we're trying to do. So we're going to be taking a look back at Dreadblow, see if we can fix it or come up with another first level feature that is a little more evocative, that really sells the idea of what the class is meant to be doing. Did I show you my latest work in progress, my Dreadlord full armor machine? No, you, or actually maybe you did. Hold on. Let me go to the Discord. I think the last people been talking. There is one on the 8th that I saw you post. Oh, present, let me see it. Okay. Ooh, there's a little bit more going on. That is wicked. That is pretty dang wicked. Yeah, that's actually pretty sweet. Looks nice. I'm drinking some water. It is apparently, what's the temperature over here? Okay, apparently we're not going to show the temperature. Okay, it hasn't hit 100 yet. It is 99 degrees today. What's going on, Fallen? It's for my Sentai Heroes and Villains project. Oh, nice. Yeah, it kind of has that sci-fi-ish vibe to it. Looks good. So yeah, we're gonna be re-looking at Dreadblow. We're finding that it kind of conflicts with certain stuff we're trying to do with the class. Having it so that we can't actually cast anything with concentration because this kind of conflicts with it. And then since the frightened buff is so strong in a way that if we want to do enhancements to Dreadblow or play with it in some fashion, we can't really add any other status effect stuff on top of it. So we need to figure this out. So that is the plan today. And then as soon as we figure Dreadblow, we'll see if we need to rework anything else in the class. It's mainly so that we can better support the subclass ideas. And most likely for the subclasses, I'm coming around to the idea that maybe we just don't have an expanded spell list. Well, we'll see. So Frighten is good. I like the idea of Frighten. But it's how we go about putting this condition on that best conveys the fantasy of this character, of this class. So right now we have it as on a hit, you're striking fear into them. But I don't know. The fact that we have to maintain concentration is something that I'm finding it's conflicting. So you're leaning to remove the concentration part or trying to make it worth doing this instead of other concentration. Either remove the concentration aspect of it or maybe developing something that is a bit more evocative for the class, right? Because your first 2 levels of your class should convey the fantasy behind it. And while I think we get this in spades at level 2, right? We get dark arts. It's your dark spell casting that is based on being aggressive. You get ill-gotten gains, which you're sacrificing your own life points or your own hit die, your life force, to give you immediate magic. And then you get your fighting styles. Those 3 things together really convey the fantasy of what I see a Reaver, this Dark Knight fantasy trope is. So what I'm trying to do is somehow convey that in the first level that leads into the second level. So, but before we get started, I just wanted to mention this stream is sponsored by Skyzephyrs. Skyzephyrs is a third-party 5th edition product by father-son team Homie and the Dude, who cover TTRPG and MMA content. Skyzephyrs aims to bring players ship and aerial combat rules to 5e that complements but does not bog down 5e combat. So along with the book, they're also releasing a digital tool to help run the mechanics, whether you're going to do it at a virtual table or meet with your playgroup at a real table. So their Kickstarter is going to be live very, very soon, I believe. Super soon. You can go. There's a link in the description if you want to be notified. I believe there's some early bird special going on right now with the Kickstarter. And I believe a friend of the channel, Wally DM, did interview Homie and the Dude regarding this Kickstarter too. So if you want to go head over to Wally DM after the stream, go check out his live stream VOD and go show him some love there too. Yeah, I believe there's a little bit more info on that live stream also regarding the project. So yeah, it looks interesting. It's got a lot of things that Spelljammer didn't have, actually, you know, like actual aerial and player ship combat rules that work. I'm not salty. I spent like $60 on Spelljammer, and now it's just there. All right, so what I'm also gonna bring up, let me see, I'm gonna go to D&D Beyond, because I like to look at other options that kind of play in the same thematics. So we do have the Undead Warlock that plays with the idea of fear. We have the Conquest Paladin, is also a very similar idea. I'm also going to bring up, where are you at? It is Van Richten's Guide to Everything, or Van Richten's Guide, yeah. I'm saying Van Richten's Guide to Everything. It's Van Richten's Guide. Van Richten. Van Richten's Guide to Raven. Excuse me. So we're going to be looking at this also because we can maybe pull some inspiration from the Dark Gifts. Maybe pull some inspiration from some of these monsters. There's a Ravenloft. So first we're going to look at Warlock. Let me pull this up on your guys' screen. Is it fine? No, it's not fine. So let's move this back off. Here. Okay, and then we're gonna do this instead. I paid like $100 on a Pathfinder 1 monster guidebook, and now it's just randomly in my closet. It happens. It happens. Actually, like, for the Spelljammer stuff, I'm pretty sure we'll use the monster out of there. That's pretty much about it. Maybe if I get a chance to play GIF, be a big old hippo guy, I can do that too. Okay, we're gonna look at it this way. There we go. Okay, cool. Look at this. So, gonna zoomies. Okay, there you guys go. All right, we want to look at the undead because probably one of my favorite warlock subclasses thematically because of how flexible it is in its use of its flavor. And how you as a player can convey like what your former dread looks like, and it's probably one of my favorite features. But this does a lot of what I like for the Dreadnought. Once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw, and if the saving throw fails, the target is frightened of you until the end of your next turn. So I'm liking a lot of this, and then you are straight up, you are immune to the frightened condition. So for one of the ideas, we're gonna open up the dock. We're gonna go into a workshop area. And then let's go. There's potentially, we can do something very, very simple. Dreadful. We can do something like this. Want pretty much just rip that. It's very, very simple, very, very straightforward. We lose the we lose the concentration aspect of it. But we also lose the movement speed to it. Right? Maybe, and quite possibly there might be a way to convey entering some sort of dreadful form in a way. Maybe we can have it kind of like be a rage-esque form. You have to do this as a bonus action. You can only do this X amount of times. And maybe if you want to do it beyond the limited times you do have, you can spend a hit die on it. We can do that too. Also, the Paladin has the Conquest Paladin, which is about kind of having like a fear aura. We have that option too. Conquering Presence. But what I'm attempting to do is finding a fun, maybe different way to to handle Frighten. Or a Conquest. Okay, let's see. There's monsters. Let's look at Dark Gifts. Dark gift description. We're just gonna look at these for some inspiration because there's different ones. Echoing Soul, Gathered Whispers, Living Shadow, Miss Walker, Second Skin, Symbiotic Being, Touch of Death, Watchers. Okay, so what is Echoing Soul? You get proficient 2 skills of your choice. You can speak, read, write additional language of your choice. You make an attack roll, an ability check, or saving throw, and roll a 1 on the d20. Your soul's memory emerge and overtake your perceptions and experiences. You might see people around you as someone other than. Okay, and then you get one of these random effects, but you have to roll a critical fail. This, okay. This is cantrip, voices beyond. All right, so these are all triggering off a critical fail. Oh, Shadow Strike is pretty good. Not for not for like a core feature, but since we do have a shadow subclass, this might be something we can look back and see. It's like, oh, maybe we can incorporate this, giving it Mage Hand too. Okay. One thing I also want to look at, hold on there. Core monsters is this. Monstrous traits. Okay. Artificial minion. Selfless body or when attack hits its master and the minion is within 5 feet of its master, the minion can use its reaction to make the attack hit itself. Okay, interesting. Stars. Relentless killers. These are actually pretty sick. These are like the horror creatures, like classic 80s horror. Relentless slasher. What's going on? What's going on, man? We kind of just started. We're about 20 minutes into it. We're trying to look for some ideas. When we were trying to design some subclasses last Wednesday, I was finding that we were having some issue with trying to double down on certain effects and trying to pair it up with like Frightened and the Dreadblow. And there's a lot of non-bow kind of stuff. Like it would prevent you from being able to. A lot of it would prevent you from being able to concentrate on spells. So say if you wanted to get like Hex or like you wanted to use a whole person or something, that you wouldn't be able to maintain the concentration on those spells because you had to maintain concentration on Dreadblow. So either the option was to design the features in a way or design the spell list in a way that it wouldn't have any concentration spells, but actually limits some of the flavorful options that we can take. And on top of that, if we were going to have at least one subclass feature that rode or was pretty much doubled down or try to build upon the Dreadblow feature, which is pretty much a curse. Since it already has Frighten and it limits half your movement, it hurts. You can't really add any other status effects on top of it if you really, really need to. So right now we're trying to figure out what's the best way to convey some sort of imposing fear. And like Former Dread probably has one of the best ways to kind of do it in an aggressive manner. Dreadnought magically shapes a creature's feature. Oh, deadly shaping. Oh wow, that's actually, that hat is wicked. Oh my god. So what I'm trying to do is maybe look at Divine Death, Undying, Paladin, at Conquest. We also have Oathbreaker, but Oathbreaker doesn't really have too much. And it might be something like I might be thinking too hard. Like, yeah, thinking way too hard on it. It might be just that we take a simple approach to it. And it might be that we just do Dreadblow, but we simply just leave it as like this, where I have it as Dreadful. Once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you force it to make a Wisdom saving throw, and if the saving throw fails, the target is frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Might just be something as simple as that. But for me, I always like to add a little spice. So what I want to look at, I want to pull up two, because I'm not digging some of this Paladin stuff. Because I'm wondering too, is Paladins have Divine Smite, right? That is their third level. That is their class feature. Let me pull it up. And it's not that I want like an attack that just kind of like an attack that's like a smite that does a shit ton of damage. I'm wondering if we can do like a smite like effect, but it's like instead of doing extra damage, the more you dump into it, the more people you can fear. The answer might be to strip the condition out of Dreadblow and allow the powers to add in the most relevant one. Yeah, what if we had a concentration-like feature similar to how Rage is something you had to focus on maintaining but not actually concentrate? That's what I'm thinking, yeah. So there's a couple of things, yeah. So the idea right now I'm playing with, because stripping fear or frightened condition out of it is a little off to me, because part of this identity for this class is that it should impose fear in some way. What's going on, Nick? Right, it should impose fear in some way, but let's look at some other conditions, or let's look at the other classes that kind of have that same thing. But I think you guys, Steven, you're onto something, and I think Fallen, you both are onto something else, because I don't think we get anything like that out of a base kit, right? Out of any of the classes, there's nothing in there that straight up says that I'm doing this to you. Like, you're gonna be, instead it's giving you options. Like at level 1 for a warlock, well, level 1 for a warlock, you get a class feature. So this might not be the best. I'm gonna straight up say this might not be the best one to look at. Let's look at the paladin. Let's look at the paladin, because this class is gonna be more like a half caster in a lot of sense. So we get divine sense, lets you kind of just like, oh, okay guy, right, we get divine sense, lets you kind of look around to see what's going on. You get lay on hands, allows you to heal somebody but also heal yourself, still playing into that heroic divine aspects of the paladin. But even then, I don't know, my gripe with the paladin, it's pretty much just a war cleric by another name still. Like, they're still designing it in this way. Even with the update coming out, it's still just a war cleric. Because lay on hands would be a pretty sick feature to have on your cleric, just saying. But okay, divine smite comes in at 2nd level. I'm just gonna throw this an idea out here. Let me copy, and then I want to definitely pull up. Let's pull up barbarian, because one of the things, if we have like a rage-like state, right? We're gonna look at a rage-like state, which in a lot of sense does make sense for this kind of class. It needs to go into a state where it can connect and be able to channel its own life force to generate energy. So there has to be some sort of spellcasting element to it. But let me finish my train of thought on this first. We're just gonna, okay, we're just gone, man. Just do this for me. Stop being weird, Google. You're gonna spend your corruption points to. Hold on. I'm just gonna put the idea down. It's not, this is not correct for. This is not what I'm putting it out right now. This line of text here, I'll highlight it too, is not the correct way to actually write mechanically for 5e. But it's the idea I'm trying to convey. We are starting with the first level feature. We're finding that that Dreadblow, as it currently works now, it kind of works against some of like the spell casting and being able to build on top of it angle and aspect I was trying to do with the class. So you can spend a hit die too. So yeah, that's one idea. You do spend your hit die to kind of expand the range of it. That's one idea. Let's look at a rage-like mechanic, because I know who has a similar rage stance mechanic. So we do this as a bonus action, right? Advantage on saving, strength checks, and saving throws. You can make a melee weapon attack using strength. Yeah, trying to think. Because part of me, this is what part of me wants to do, to be honest. Move dark arts to first level. Not have it give you cantrips. Maybe even have a first level class feature. A first level class feature that has like the main mechanic that's built off of melee, that makes you feel more like a certain kind of like Dark Knight trope. and it would be something different for a marshal. Because it would still be a martial class. You still get your fighting styles and stuff at second level. Okay, I want to look at. Okay, we're gonna look at range. Look at rage. Okay, let's look back at rage. We're gonna pull up. We're gonna pull up wizard. I'm pulling up wizard for blade singing because they have a rage like effect. Well, pretty much a blade song is kind of like a rage like effect. I also want to pull up. Let's pull back the warlock, sorcerer, and cleric. Also want to pull up druid because wild shape in a lot of sense is a rage-like mechanic. You're entering another state. So, but the reason I'm looking at wild shape is because there are limitations to like what you can do in that. So that's a lot of what I want. Okay, let's skip this. Want to just check something with the bard really quick. Let's go look at how bad the artificer is too. Part of it, like I'm looking at, just when certain class features come online, like bardic inspiration comes on here. Bardic inspiration has a lot of utility built into it. Very straightforward on what it can buff. Okay. I'm gonna put some ideas down right now. We'll clear it up and see what we're doing. Bonus action. Activate. Bonus action activate. So part of the problem, I think right now I'm also looking at with the exhaustion mechanic we have built in. Well, I think it's very, very scary, and I love the suggestion Terran gave us, aka Indestructible gave us, for No Rest for the Wicked. I think completely just ignoring the unilaterally just ignoring exhaustion, just straight up across the board, you're never gonna feel its negative effects. Kind of makes it weird to play with the exhaustion mechanic. I think in a rage like feature, we can have that huge ass buff in there. We want to be in this Reaver form. We ignore it in there, but you're still gonna feel the effects of it outside of combat. All right, give me a sec. I'm gonna go ahead and run to the restroom really quick. I think I'm cooking something. I think maybe. Alrighty. Got some water. All right, let's try this. Also, we're gonna be releasing a video this week. Actually, we're gonna be releasing the. I will be having out the Giant Barbarian cover, the subclass video. I haven't done a subclass video in a very long time. I think the last one I covered was Lunar Sorcerer. So yeah, so I'm gonna be covering this one. I might be my last video until September, to be honest. I'm gonna, or August, October actually. I might still gonna be doing streams but I'm probably gonna take a little break. I want to work on some stuff on the back end. There's just some, and I want to get some new graphics. I do want to stockpile up on some videos, and there's also working on something else that's gonna take up some time. So yeah, I need like a little month to catch up on stuff. But when we come back in October, the plan is to start releasing more character build videos again. We're going to be jumping back into that kind of stuff. We're still going to be doing design streams. But yeah, character build videos are back on the menu. We're bringing them back. I think the approach I'm going to take with we're still going to only focus on levels 1 to 10, but I think with Baldur's Gate being the way it is right now, even though I probably should be doing them now, I want to do a bunch of character builds that are viable for Baldur's Gate 3 and at the table. So it's going to be we're going to see a lot of the options for Baldur's Gate 3. It's not for this channel. I'm working on another like food related channel with my wife, so I need some time to also edit there and edit videos for that. So yeah, it's another channel that we're big foodies, so working on something like that, but I need some time to edit. Yeah, so that channel's our channel, this one's my channel. I even thought about at one point starting another channel completely. So another thing I am thinking about is streaming on Twitch. It's not that I don't like streaming on YouTube, but being able to stream on Twitch, I don't feel like I'm confined to a very specific kind of content. So like what I noticed with streaming on YouTube and content on YouTube, it is very focused on what the algorithm dictates what your channel is meant to be a lot of the time. So like for my channel, the videos that tend to get pushed out are going to be character build and subclass related videos. That makes a lot of sense. That's what I started off with doing anyway. So anything that's outside of that doesn't really get a lot of traction. But in terms of live stream, like it makes sense maybe to go over to Twitch so that if I want to still do design streams, or say like we're getting stuck on something, I just want to hop on Baldur's Gate, or I want to hop on a video game, there's no pressure and I can just like play and hang out there. So yeah, to be honest, if I had the chance right now, I'd be like, I'm shutting this down. We're gonna play some Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is stupid fun. It's stupid. Yeah, I've been having a good time with it. Last night was the first time I actually got to play multiplayer with people, with some friends. They all picked up the game finally. They needed a healer and a tank, so I went with a Tempest Cleric. And it was a very different experience, especially if you play with people that can have chaotic tendencies. Oh, literally playing right now, nice. So there's a section in the game, so there's a little bit of spoilers, and it was the funniest thing because I was kind of going through the teaching that me and one of the other players were teaching the other two on our team, kind of the basics of mechanics. You ran through like some of the basic dungeons, some of the basic fights, and then eventually you get to the druid camp where there are tiefling refugees that have fled from Elturel and are making their way to Baldur's Gate. So this happens roughly around the same time that Descendant to Avernus happens, right? So it's still very, very early on. It was in the early access part of the game. So what ended up happening was we get in there, we sell our stuff, we make our way to the main section where the druids are at. There's a little cutscene that said the druids are fighting off having an argument with some of the tiefling refugees. Your characters walk up. They're supposed to disperse. As one of our bard player was conversing with the person, our monk player, she was right clicking and pickpocketing everything, but she wasn't necessarily stealing anything. What she was trying to do was just see what everybody had in their pockets. But she failed enough rolls that it initiated combat, and it caused a commotion where the druids felt the tieflings were attacking them and planned their attack on them. So the druids started to massacre the tiefling population. So let's just say the Druid Grove, there isn't exactly a lot of people there right now after last night's incident. I've thought about making a new channel too. My algorithm is probably a total mess since my channel has probably 100 or 1,000 videos on an old game called Robocraft. Then I pivoted to D&D. Honestly, it wouldn't be a bad idea to just do a new channel and still keep that one there. Because I thought about that too. I'm gonna be honest. I thought about creating a separate sort of D&D channel, or sort of like a related niche to D&D channel. I guess I can say that was going to be a bit more video game focused. That wasn't about character builds and stuff. It was mainly looking at, I think, not so much what Trekio's Game Changer is doing, where he is looking at video games and looking at different aspects and how to incorporate those into 5e. But not mechanically. I was looking more of the narrative aspect of like multimedia and how you can include those in your games. And then because I try to have those videos on my channel and they just don't circulate, and I think it is part of like my channel being so focused on character build stuff. So maybe having another channel that focuses more on that would help. But I don't have time for a second channel, I'm gonna be honest. Well, technically, I don't got time for a third channel, but I'm already gonna do a second channel. So yeah. All right. So we're here. Reaver, Dreadform, cool guy. Reavers. Oh, let's just Reavers. Rage form. So what I'm looking at is a bonus action to activate. It causes a level of exhaustion, but while you're in the state, the effects of exhaustion are ignored unless it causes death. Can expend hit die to keep the form active longer. So if you want, what I'm thinking is like if you want to extend it beyond the limited amount, so that it's useful outside of combat, here you go, like this. You're able to do that as well. But what bonuses should we get? What bonuses should we get? Right. I have a lot of like mechanics set. There's this. It's rage form. I have another idea. Like this would act like a reverse bardic inspiration on attack. Let me pull a Bardic Inspiration. See if it even work with this. Forgot to look at Artificer. Yeah, because for me, it's like as soon as we figure out this first level thing, I think we're fine. Because let's look at the looking at the barbarian right now. So like in terms of class features, what is it doing? Rage and unarmored defense. But if we did a first level feature, like our first level subclass on a melee character, like on a warlock, they get an expanded spell list, Fey Presence. They get at least 2 features here, which makes up for gonna get evocations and pack boon. Pack boon acts as like pretty much their like a subclass choice. Agonizing blast, and then yeah, you get your evocations, more customizable options. I am trying to make it so that it is backwards compatible, so like I have to pull back on the, or not backwards, it's forwards compatible with what's going to go on with 1D&D. Because whether people like it or not, and I'm already thinking in a year from now, people are going to be talking about 1D, like, or the update anyway. And when they talk about D&D, they're going to talk about the update. I think you're still going to have some outliers that are going to be holdouts for pre-2024 update. But for the most part, people are going to hop over. I'm just finding it funny about how the discussion regarding the update is still bent, like it's still focused on the idea of the edition change and the idea that this is just an updated edition, and then that with all the updates, or now with every UA that's coming out, and they keep pulling stuff back, and it's kind of reverting back to just like closer to what 5e currently is with some updates, right? That now people are kind of like getting frustrated that it's not like that. But the thing is, Wizards of the Coast has never said that this was a brand new edition. This is something that's kind of been, unfortunately, us YouTubers have done a terrible job of really just permeating that idea that, oh, this is an edition change, this is an edition change, right? I try not to, because I don't feel like it wasn't an edition change, but seeing that at least in the earlier UAs that they completely were changing a lot of mechanics, I'm like, okay, this is a new edition. But now that I'm seeing pulling back, it goes back to my initial feeling like, okay, this is just a remaster or an update that they initially were saying. Yeah, but the problem is, okay, like, yeah, what you're saying, 1D&D in the community's eyes went from 6E to 5.5, now it's 5.1, right? But when the 6E stuff was going around, people were screaming bloody murder, saying this wasn't backwards compatible, this wasn't that, this wasn't this, right? So now we're getting a system that pretty much is the system they've been wanting to play, just with maybe weapons, a slight shift in subclass progression, right? Everybody gets their subclass at 3rd level, and then you get the weapon mastery system, right? And we're probably gonna get some, and then we get solid class updates, right? Monk still needs some work, but it's, for me, I think it's heading in a decent direction, because at least we know with subclasses, the monk subclasses, they rock. It's just the core class needs to work still. And then Ranger got an upgrade, right? And they're looking at fighter, like they're looking at a lot of stuff that people have been complaining about. But also it's like, Like, weren't people complaining that it wasn't 5e with the first, and now we're getting 5e, and now they're complaining it's not different enough? Like, come on. And that's one of the things that's like, I laugh because it pretty much is 5e remastered, and Paizo is not really getting any of the flack for doing a Pathfinder 2nd Edition remaster right now, where they're updating their system to be to get away partly from the OGL, but also to clean up some of the rules and stuff and make it a little bit more cohesive and getting out the kinks that they've realized that were in the game in the first place, right? I just think is the level of judgment and scope is very, very different for both games when they're practically doing the same shit. Not to say that Wizards isn't rightfully shouldn't be like should be allowed to kind of like get away with the stupid shit that they've done. Like, there should be a level of scrutiny that is perfectly acceptable, and they should be held accountable for a lot of the stuff they've been doing. But at the same time, those of us with any sort of influence need to be a little bit more responsible too. Oh yeah, and definitely, and yeah, that's part of me by being held accountable, right? The difference in confidences and design. One D&D would be popular if the products being released were not going down the quality, and I agree, that's being holding them accountable. Well, Spelljammer was terrible, like it just wasn't good. It wasn't what we wanted out of it, and we haven't really seen that quality come back in the books, and that's why we need to hold them accountable. I do think there is a shift definitely in how this game is being approached for design, but also because this game isn't hitting the same markets that it once was. Since this game is meant to be hit in a mass market, mass produced, it's hitting a different audience. So from putting my designer hat on, I don't like, and I know other designers share the sentiment, that they're pretty much crowdsourcing design. Right, they're having us vote on surveys and stuff, and they're pretty much just going to keep what is the highest voted stuff, and then that's it. When there's certain things that definitely need to be changed. Like, there's a big conversation of caster versus martial divide, and I know I said this in another Discord, but the same people that complain about martial casters divide also will get upset. Some of the same people that complain about the divide will also be the ones complaining about if they actually addressed it and nerfed spellcasting. That's really what it comes down to. Nerf spellcasting. They'll be the first one to say you don't nerf spellcasting. It's like, you probably should. You wanna lessen the divide. You gotta nerf the problem, not try to implement systems that might not bring marshals up to par with spellcasters, and they won't really function at the same power level, and it'll be still harder to balance, right? Obviously, I'm subjective, but my main complaint is that this flagship game doesn't have the design that competes with anything more robust than DM's Guild. But yeah, but also I think with the stuff on the DM's Guild, right? You're looking at that. Part of it is like the people on the DM's Guild can make specialized content to fill in those gaps. So it's a love-hate relationship, right? We can do this, and they allow us and have a market where designers can fill in those gaps, and for those that want a crunchier system, they can get that product and find it on DM's Guild, or find it on Drive-Thru RPG, or find it on other here on YouTube, find it on Patreon and stuff, and fill in those gaps. Or we can have it in a very similar way that what's happening with Pathfinder, which is a very dense system, but it is very harder to homebrew for, in a sense, or third-party design for, because Paizo releases so much content that by the time you might get around to releasing something that would work, or a new class or something, Paizo pretty much already has it done. So it's just a matter of like kind of give and take. What I really wish what Wizards would do, and what they should do, because they still get a cut of the pie, is really help push out and promote third-party content in a way that encourages people to buy it or accept it as a thing that is viable in the community. Because there's a lot of people now that still will not buy DM's Guild stuff because they feel it's not balanced compared to the main official game stuff. When we very much well know, at least those that are very, very much involved in it with this game, know that a lot of first party, or pretty much Wizards of the Coast design stuff, is not balanced. Oh yeah, they'll cry. Yeah, I agree fundamentally that it's not 5e is a bad critique. I do think critique coming purely from this is a bad or uninspired design or solid, you'll never get a consistent critique from the masses. And yeah, and that's why I don't like the overall crowdsourcing of the design of what is going on. That is like my biggest thing that I'm frustrated with, because if you allow the masses to design the game in this way, and then you have them design it this way, they're just gonna stick, no matter they will continue to complain about the problems they have, but they won't accept any sort of change that addresses it unless it is their specific change. And that's also part of the problem too, is people have a very different approach on how they actually address certain problems, and that's why they never agree. What works at one table doesn't work at another. And it's also because the masses are not designers. There's also that problem too. The masses are not actual designers, in the same sense that they are thinking about how does this work for the overall system and work for everybody that is going to interact with it. And so when you crowdsource something like that, they're going to be resistant to change, and they're just going to revert back to the thing that they know, even though they complain about it and write essays on Reddit about it. I found it just fun. We think WotC is a gatekeeper, not a partner in the scene. D&D is a culture. The future of D&D is making things by hook or by crook. I don't even think D&D is a culture. I think they want it to be something like a culture or a lifestyle brand. This is a lot of Hasbro, because they don't plan on having D&D make their money from the game. I think it is very, very dangerous in geek spaces to fall into the idea that franchises and brands are a culture. I see this a lot in Star Wars. We're definitely seeing this with Marvel now, with MCU and comic fans, and then we definitely see this with DC and the Snyderverse stuff, that they're building these weird subcultures around it that are very, very dangerous, and people are turning their whole identity based around that thing. And corporations prey on that shit because they want you to keep buying their crappy product, and will continue to do the least amount of effort and charge you the most amount of money for that. If just geeks need to have a better, like, and in general, this is not just a geek culture thing. This is just something that happens everywhere. This is a product of, capitalism. I think people just need to have a better relationship and association with their pretty much their hobbies. It's not to say that to not enjoy those things, right? It's just, for a D&D player, you're not, like, D&D is not you. Like, it's just another thing that you do with your friends to hang out with. It may be a big part of your life. Like, for me, D&D is a big part of my life. But I'm not defining myself by D&D, right? I also like Marvel. I like DC. I like Star Wars. But I'm not, like, that I have a healthy relationship with all these things to be able to like just step away. Yeah. I mean, quote culture in the sense that, okay, yeah, I get you. What do you mean by that? Yeah. Yeah, there is a whole... Yeah, culture would be, I think, the closest word to use for it, because, yeah, it's a whole... It's part of the actual game's identity, really, too. You really think about it, it's like... And that's why, like, it's just true. Like, if Hasbro drops the ball and they just pretty much kill off the brand of D&D, like, D&D's still gonna exist. Just, you know, it will still exist. People are still gonna play D&D. They're still gonna play TTRPGs. Oh. Okay, am I? Let's see. Okay, yeah, I don't want to... Yeah, I'm pulling back on the idea. I do want to be compatible with update stuff. I want to be compatible with like the 2024 in a way, so that I don't have to completely update this class all that much. Because right, if I do a 2024 5e update, pretty much I think all I'm gonna do is slap on the weapon trait stuff that they're doing, and that's pretty much it. That should be how this class updates. I'm also glad that they took away the overarching class, like spell list stuff, so you can have a more definitive list that really conveys the flavor of your class. So there's that. Bard is gonna get have to get reworked because of that, though, because for the Bard I did like if those arcane, primal, and divine spell lists were still to be a thing. I actually enjoyed the fact that the Bard was able to choose which of those were their main class, main spell list. I know not everybody felt the same way, but it was super flavorful because you actually get to... It's another way to flavor your character in a way. So the Bard getting that divine spell list, you're more like a church singer, choir person. I like that they're returning to class lists, but they shouldn't scrap spells, types, and tags. They would have to implement a tag system. And it depends on how crunchy they need that game to be. I think as those of us that are really ingrained into TTRPGs, it makes a lot of sense. But if you're trying to produce something for a mass market that is going to go outside of the TTRPG space, because that's pretty much, I think, what a lot of people in the space really miss about what is going on with D&D as a brand. I literally went to Target before I hopped on stream, and they are selling books on the bookshelf at Target, and it's not just players' handbooks; it's adventure books now. Like, you can buy. They had Keys of the Golden Vault, and they also had Tyranny of Dragons at Target. And 2 aisles away was the starter box. So, like, D&D's in big box stores for the mass market. I can't say the same thing for Pathfinder or any other really TTRPGs. I think the closest one is Avatar, the RPG. But also, again, that's Avatar, The Last Airbender, which already has a broader appeal. So at the same time, I don't know how much more gamey mechanics should be or shouldn't be needed in the game. As somebody who's played a lot of Magic the Gathering, which is completely gamey mechanics, obviously, like, it has to be because of the tournament legality, all the competitive play and everything. Yeah, like, you really need well-defined mechanics. So even when I came into D&D, I was already thinking Magic Brain that everything was well-defined and everything. But now that I've personally started designing for the game and really this pretty much this YouTube channel really got me to dig into the system. Like, the ambiguity of how stuff is written is frustrating at times because you get conversations like the stupid oversized weapon discourse that's going on because of the giant barbarian subclass, which is very apparent. The game has been out since, yeah, and they haven't had an update. Right? But yeah, like, since the game is written in a very like casual language, you get issues where, for example, the giant oversized weapon stuff that's being talked about again for some reason. It should be updated, but also it's going to be dictated by a market. Need to remember to a big weapon. Yeah, somebody needs to do one. Jesus Christ, man. The oversized weapon rules and the DM's, the Dungeon Master's Guide does not apply to player characters. That's the truth. It's in a section about monsters in the Dungeon Master's Guide, not in the player's handbook in the weapon section. There's really no argument around that. It's like there's a context around what they're saying in that section. And if you purposely ignore that context, you're kind of being an asshole, misleading people. Okay. Reason we're looking at, okay. What I wanted to do, reverse. Where's the Barterino? Trying to think. Magical Tinkering. No, we don't need this. Man. Have Artificer up. I love the Artificer as a character concept. The more I've gotten to play the class, I hate it. It's so frustrating. Mid to lower level gameplay is really solid, but once you get into the high tier gameplay, oh my god. You're just sitting there. You're really just sitting there doing Flash of Genius. Yeah, I think too. Okay, the class argument. Part of me, like as I am designing my own classes to fill in niches, I agree with you. That part of me is like, yeah, they should have had added another class outside of Artificer. At the same time, the game is designed in a way that it doesn't allow room completely for other classes in an official sense, because they have this subclass system that kind of gobbles up that design a little bit. And it doesn't mean they can't do it, because you definitely can. Like, obviously, like who's in here, like rules and rulings. Steven has a bunch of subclasses and classes. I have the Luchador that fills in a specific niche. Awesome Soul here has several classes that fill in certain narrative niches. And then obviously friend of the channel, Indestructible Boy, has plenty of classes too. So like there's definitely room for classes. Benjamin Huffman, Ross Leiser, Drunken Yoda here, where's Daryl Dominguez, classes. They obviously fill in niches. But unfortunately, the subclass system eats away at the fantasy of those, because like for Luchador, for example, it's a cross between a monk and a barbarian, and pretty much the role it kind of fits in there, and is based on grappling. All they would have to do is create a subclass under the barbarian or even under the monk that is the grapple subclass, and that pretty much eats away at that, right? Yeah, honestly, I agree with you. I'm not also confident in them being able to do another class in official capacity. I'm not confident in them be able to do it. And if they are going to do a class, the only other class I see viable for them to do would be the Psychic, because it needs 5e class design, at least in official capacity. Needs to be a large tentpole that can convey a large number of fantasies, character fantasies. And if they're going to do an official capacity, it needs to be very, very broad so that they can just keep shoveling subclasses into the game, right? In a third-party design space, we can still do this, but we don't have to be as broad, that we can focus a little bit harder on a specific niche and then see how much you can make like fit subclasses and make and broaden that out. This is what the Luchador did. I did with it, that the mask is how you're going to convey different flavor. What's it called? This is what I'm doing with the Reaver, which is a Dark Knight trope. Because while you can still play a Dark Knight in 5e, like Conquest Paladin, or you play certain like multi-class Warlock builds, there's still a lot of room and inspiration that can fit under that, right? For 5e, there are certain tropes that they're not hitting, but they are conveyed in player options already that they're not going to touch. Yeah. And it's not like Pathfinder, who releases, they have a shit ton of classes, and it's awesome, but also Pathfinder system allows for that design because there isn't really subclasses in that game. The classes are your main backbone mechanic, and their adjacent subclass option isn't a full subclass. It's just adding a flavor and a few options that allow you to have choices that you flavorfully like you can make that can give you some flavor of it, but it's not your classes to like you're a barbarian, you're still a barbarian. Oh, thanks, man. Glad you enjoyed it. After Reaver's done, I'm gonna go back to doing a update for it, a big update. It'll probably be the last update before 2024. Rip Sword Mage, yeah. Let me see. Hold on, I have an idea for this. The next time, once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, the what is, hold on. I'm needing Bane. We could rip Sword Mage. We can just have 50 Vorse imitations. Yeah, pretty much like, yeah, the Sword Mage fantasy, right? We got Blade Singer, we got Eldritch Knight, Hexblade Warlock, right? We have like 3 versions of that trope, just in various class chassis, and they're all vary in power level and how good they are. I would say though, those that want to play like a Magus, because that's what it is in Pathfinder, Benjamin Huffman has a Magus class that is pretty damn solid at doing that kind of fantasy. And it's Benjamin Huffman, so like he's most notably known for The Pugilist, which is pretty much again not a better interpretation of like a monk is, and it's really, really solid. And if you like his design, like you're gonna like the Magus. Oof, legendary guiding bolt, enhanced bow, no archer in the party. Ooh. Man. Once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, they receive a doom die, a d6. The next time they roll an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, target must roll it. Okay, let me show you guys this. This is one idea. Doomed. Once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, they receive a doom die, a d6. The next time they roll an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, the target must roll the doom die and subtract the number rolled from the attack roll or saving throw. This is like an action-based, yeah, an attack-based bardic inspiration, but reverse. It's like a bane. Is that idea? Because I'm trying to figure out, right, what can a Reaver's rage form be? Because I think we have like a strong basis there. Doomed is okay, but it's just very boring because it's just bardic inspiration on an attack. Nothing inspired. There was an idea for Doom that took inspiration from Heavy Arms' Gunslinger, where it was based off of like the critical chance effect that the Gunslinger is based on, like whenever they increase their crit chance every time they attack and haven't crit. So the other option was to have it be reversed, that every time you hit the enemy creature, it increases their chance to fail every time you crit, or every time you hit them until they fail. The problem is critical attacks. Yeah, critical strikes or critical fails only apply to attacks. So what I was trying to have it do is also apply to saving throws. So not necessarily a really solid translation, because that's another way to like you're dooming them, like they're doomed to fail. The nice thing though with this kind of like doomed mechanic, this reverse bonus action thing, is that we can do what they do with the bard, in that whenever this they're forced to roll this die, like it triggers something, or whenever you have the creature doomed. Yeah. Man, also, yeah, it misses not as dramatic as a crit. Yep. So, some ideas. I'm thinking the rage form is going to be the best thing, though. All right, give me a sec. Need to. Here you go. Get a little bit more water. All right. Water, and then I'll have my desk in standing form. Okay, so I think our rage form is probably going to be the best bet, to be honest. But we need to really figure out what can we benefit, or what cool things can we do that are a buff, right? While we're in this form. So let's look at. I'm gonna have rage pulled up. Rage is all about making your character tanky. This is not what we want out of our character. Our character is meant to be a debuffer. They're meant to be a debuffer. So they get resistance, advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. When you make a melee weapon attack using strength, you can gain a bonus to the damage roll that increases as you gain levels as barbarian, as shown. Yeah, it's that. Wizard has Blade Song, and with Blade Song, your AC increases, your walking speed increases, you have advantage on dexterity a bit checks, you gain bonus to any constitution saving throw to maintain your concentration. Oh, dang it. You can't put that on this, because that would have been fine. That would have been fine. Undead has Form of Dread. Has Form of Dread. It's just the frighten effect. Sorcerer. I don't think any of these have like some sort of form. Souls busted. Busted. Strength of it. Ooh. You can manipulate the forces of chance and chaos to gain advantage on one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. Once you do so, you must finish a long rest. before you can do the feature again. Oh man. Okay, we're trying to. Okay, oh, we're locked. I want to. X-Space Curse. Ugh. It's the only problem. Like, when it came to the Luchador, when we I designed it, I had the mechanic, the bread and butter mechanic kind of set, so it was very easy kind of just to slot in. This one's a complete opposite. I have like everything else ready. It's just the bread and butter mechanic you get at the front that is frustrating me. Thank you. Yeah, that was the mechanic I'm talking about. I thought of a combo mechanic because Proto Luchador started off as a duelist class because I wanted to figure out how do you implement a fighting game meter mechanic in 5e. That was the idea. How do we implement that? And how are you going to keep track of it? Originally, I thought points, but it would be funner if you had die, because you can actually, keep track of it with die, physically. So, and then I chose D6 because that's the most common die you can buy anyway. Hey, let's go to JP. And it was just, it clicked. Everything clicked after I realized a duelist class doesn't make sense because that just kind of fits into a weird space between fighter and rogue. After I had the luchador on the bench for so long, I was like, okay, well, this is my mechanic for the class. We're trying to redo the first level mechanic because off of last Wednesday, I realized that Dreadblow just doesn't work as intended. So I have some ideas. Bonus action. Pardon. Reverse Bardic Inspiration version. Doomed. Hold on. Oh, never mind. We have a class mechanic called Doomed. We're also thinking up an idea instead of doing we're doing reverse rage form instead. A Reaver's rage form that might solve some of the issue I might be having. Do we have ideas of what we want out of Dreadblow? Okay, so the problem we're having with Dreadblow currently is two things. The concentration effect on it. Unfortunately, the concentration mechanic, or the concentration prevents us from being allowed to concentrate on other spells that are thematic and that we would want to have on a Reaver from various subclasses. So there's that. And then there's also the fact that it causes the frighten effect, that we can't really add other status penalties to it or build on top of it, because either they already kind of do what you're going to get, or it's too strong. And that was the original intent behind Dreadblow, was to allow the subclasses to modify the ability in a way that is flavorful. And also, I think part of me is like, this doesn't feel representative of like what to expect out of the class. We have all those mechanics at second level, right? Oh, hold on, I'm getting... Yeah, and we have a lot of those thematic elements in the second level. We just don't have them really in the first. Well, hexes, interesting. Yeah, so part of me is thinking maybe rethink the effect of the writer's ability on a lot of the mechanics. So pretty much a creature feared by you, or creature feared or frightened or cursed by you does this, like, has also this effect when you attack or something like that, right? There's going to be that, but there's some thematic mechanics that do require some sort of status effect, right? Yeah, we're still on first level stuff. We can figure out this. We can actually then move over to something like another thing. So that's why I'm trying to see, can we either fix Dreadblow, or we currently have it. Let me see. Dreadblow. We're gonna go into workshop. Workshop down here. There's Dreadful. Excuse me. There's Dreadful. So once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can force it to make a Wisdom saving throw. And if the saving throw fails, the target is frightened of you until the end of your next turn. You're immune to the frightened creature. Okay, that's just, you can take this part out, but that's this. The other idea is this one. I don't have a name for it, but when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack. Oh, this was like Fear Smite. That you could use your corruption points to smite them, hit them with fear, and then expend your hit die to extend the radius of the fear to hit multiple targets. Dreadbull does not deal extra damage. That was one of the things too. It does not deal extra damage. It just frightens and halves their movement at this point. But it's also a curse, so it has to be concentrated on. Then we have this reverse Bardic Inspiration. Here does let the ooh. Yeah, because is it the clause that says you're not the source of its fear? Yeah. I think the concentration part was to balance of forcing not force a save, which makes a lot of sense. This was suggested by Indestructible Boy, but I'm finding it that doesn't necessarily do or convey the fantasy that I'm intending to convey. This was my original pitch for a fear mechanic, is that pretty much you would mark the creature, they are feared or whatever, and then whenever you kill them, enemy creatures around you, hostile creatures around you, would need to make a save. And if they fail to save, they're feared. And pretty much whenever you drop them to 0 as well, it just keeps spreading the fear. It was a way for me to be like, how can I do an aura without doing an aura? That was my original idea behind the fear mechanic, because like you're spreading fear. Okay. Well, actually, we do have a way around that, Nick. That comes in at 5th level. So we did think about that. We have Strike Fear. Creatures that are immune to the frightened condition lose this immunity against your spells and class features. They'll have advantage on saving throws to void or end the condition. This was our kind of like power upgrade at 5th level. So yeah, I did think about that, and then JP helped clean up the language on that one. Random thought, could it be that when you hit, you force them to concentrate on you and they can't drop it willingly while they can see you? Oh yeah, also this one we need. Let me just highlight this one. This one needs, or had to write a note there. We do need to rework Grim Endurance, because it doesn't necessarily scale. They're already concentrating on something, but if they're not, it's a fear-like feature by forcing them to concentrate on something that's not to them. Ooh. So this would be something that would, the way I'm reading it is like I'm assuming the way I'm reading it is you're forcing the creature to make a concentration check on you. Like they have to concentrate on you. Ooh, okay. You got me thinking. Okay, let's go back to workshop. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna call it Dread. Whenever you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack using strength. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Also, if you guys are in the Dungeoneers Pack Discord, join the Discord. We're pretty much, I'm pretty active in there and hang out and talk with everybody. And we're always either chatting it up about 5e, Pathfinder, Baldur's Gate lately. or I always post stuff I'm working on a lot more frequently there. Thumbnails. Lately I've been kind of throwing in what I've been doing. I've been throwing in ideas for class symbol in there too. So yeah, if you're not in there, go ahead. There's a bunch of cool people hang out and talk in there on a daily basis. But okay, so idea of that I have in my head based off of what I'm reading from JP. Force the creature to concentrate on you, losing concentration on hold on. Okay, hold on. Oh, I have the wrong thing up. Oh. If this is a level 1 ability, you could even tailor it to the subclasses, different flavors, domains of dread, kind of like the Paladin capsule, but you actually get to play with it because it's not locked at a level nobody reaches. Yeah. And yeah, and actually that's the thing. The whole point of the first level feature is so that at 3rd level, you get an enhancement on top of it. I think removing the fear aspect out of it and having a fear-like effect would work, and that's something that can be built on top of. Because now, like, the way I'm thinking about this is when you hit your creature with a melee attack using strength, right? Force the creature to concentrate on you, losing concentration on what they may be concentrating on. This is probably going to be like a wisdom saving throw. While they're concentrating on you, they have like a small effect, and you are sight. Small fear-like effect. You can only have a creature cursed with dread. You can only have cursed with dread, right? Something like that. Let me see. When you hit, okay. Pull up JP's suggestions so you guys can see it. All right, pull it up here. When you hit a creature with a melee attack using strength, you can force it to concentrate on you for a minute. As it concentrating on a spell, if the creature was already concentrating on something, it must succeed on a probably wisdom saving throw or be forced to concentrate on you. Or be forced to concentrate on you. If a creature that is concentrating on you cannot willingly draw concentration while they can see you. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. I'm actually really liking this, JP. This is a really great idea. Because now, like, yeah, that's already a huge freaking when you hit a creature with, I'm not sure you need to make the distinction between if it's concentrating on something or not. When you hit a creature using strength, you can force it to concentrate on you for a minute as a concentrating on the spell if the creature was already concentrating on something. Actually, yeah, I was thinking that too. Just they're forced to make a safe period to clean it up and also to maybe lower the power down, right? Because there isn't. That's probably something I don't want it to do, is to auto succeed on non-casters. But let's look at let's look at, is there any class feature that is imposing on an enemy? Arcane. Hold on. I think best ones to look at would be something like Undead Warlock, right? Yeah, wisdom saving throw. Well, you gotta think. Yeah, I think. Yeah, just save already, because if they're already concentrating on something and you're hitting them, right? They have to make a con save already, and then they're gonna have to make a wisdom saving throw. So they're gonna have to make 2 saves against this. Okay, when you hit a creature, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack using strength, you can force it to concentrate on you for a minute as a concentrating on a spell. If the creature was already concentrating on something, hold on. Where the? Or to make a saving throw, and if the saving throw fails, the creature concentrates on you for 1 minute as if concentrating on a spell. If the while you're with while within a line of sight, Ooh. When a creature with a melee weapon attack uses strength, you can force it to make a... That dude, Daniel, thank you for the sub. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon using strength, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw, and if the saving throw fails, the creature concentrates on you for 1 minute as a concentrating spell. A creature that is concentrating you cannot willingly drop. Okay, there's going to be 2 clauses to pretty much force them to drop, like they can't drop. Where's the original Dread Blow? When you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack while using strength, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw, and if the saving throw fails, the creature concentrates on you for 1 minute as a concentrate on a spell. A creature that is concentrating you cannot willingly drop a concentration. And let me... There we go. Because yeah. How we're gonna limit this is, hold on, limits. I'm gonna put some limit ideas down here right now. We'll limit this a couple ways. Have X amount of uses equal to PB. Cannot have more than 1 creature affected this way, and we already have the wisdom saving throw limit. We're only putting PB now, but it's probably because here's the problem too. It's either going to be PB or con, because con is our spellcasting stat. We're doing con now. Part of me wants to con definitely, because PB will scale as you level. Con, there's a good chance we're just gonna have like a really solid con with this class. This is a strength and con class. Part of me, we're gonna test it though to see how balanced it is, because if not, it'll be charisma. Because charisma, it makes a lot of sense. This is a fear-based ability. Does it even need to have limit uses? Probably. When you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack using strength, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw, and if the saving throw fails, the creature concentrates on you for 1 minute. A creature that is concentrated on you cannot willingly drop concentration, does not need to make concentration saving throws to maintain concentration on Dread as a result take a damage while you're within line of sight. While it's concentrated on you. Also, 2 saving throws to maintain. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to think. Because here's the problem, or the reason why I have this clause in here to maintain concentrate. This one right here, is because if you hit this person again, you're gonna force them to make a con save. To do the same effect again. So this is not so much to make it like infinite, it's or like to make it powerful, it's so that you're not slowing down play by hitting them again and forcing them to do the loop again. That's why. So I'm thinking like a table play, like how the speed of it. And we're also going to limit maybe once per turn. So you're not just... Oh, that's true. A creature that has concentrated on you cannot willingly drop concentration and does not need to make constitution. When you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack using straight, you can force it to make once per turn. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack using strength, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw. And if the saving throw fails, the creature concentrates on you for 1 minute. As a concentrate on a spell, a creature that is concentrated on you cannot willingly drop concentration, does not need to make constitution saving throws to maintain concentration on the dread as a result of taking damage while you are within line of sight. That is also a slight buff. I'm going to tell you, here's the buff part. What I'm trying to do, speed of play. This is my main concern, so that whenever you attack, you're not forcing you attack them themselves. You're not forcing them to lose, make the roll again. The little buff part comes that if long as you're in line of sight, your allies won't cause the concentration trigger. Yeah. So for me, it is a speed of play issue. And here's the cool thing. This is what I'm thinking too. It's kind of dumb, but moving up dark arts to first level, right? With ill-gotten gains, or no, maybe not ill-gotten gains, because I think this mechanic's strong enough that it could be a second level feature. Because one thing I'm trying to really consider is if the creature's attempting to if they're attempting to cast a spell that's going to maintain concentration, we need to consider that too. Is like, okay, what's the ruling on that? Excuse me. Creature with a weapon attack using strength, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw. Creature concentrates on you for 1 minute. Creature that's concentrating, you cannot willingly drop concentration. Does not need to make saving throws. Damage. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We'll only ever have one creature with this effect on it. Detriments. I'm just trying to figure out a way, a balancing measure, and a way to write this so that if they're going to cast a spell or something, or like they have like disadvantage on it, or they may need to make a some sort of throw. Actually, never mind. No, they can't. A creature that is concentrating, you cannot willingly drop concentration. Does not need to make. Okay, no, never mind. We don't need to write that clause because of the first part. A creature that's concentrating, you cannot willingly drop concentration, because if they cast a spell that requires concentration, they're at that point, I think, are willingly dropping concentration. So, say a spellcaster is attempting to cast a spell that requires concentration. But I think that is the clause right there. This is a fun problem to have to figure how this works. Okay, Um. Okay, we gotta. It's the. Balancing measures. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna be one or the other. I think it's one or the other. Effect on this creature if yeah. So ways to let the effect end. Obviously if they lose line of sight at us, I think that's perfectly fine. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack using strength, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw, and if the saving throw fails, the creature concentrates on you for 1 minute as a concentrating on a spell. A creature that is concentrating you cannot willingly drop concentration, does not need to make saving throw to maintain concentration on the dread. As a result of you're within line of sight while concentrating on you, the creature has disadvantage on it. The effect ends. Trying to think if it should have this effect ends clauses. While concentrating on you, the creature has disadvantage on attack rolls. Effect ends. Every turn you hit a creature with a melee weapon and use a strength, you can force to make a wisdom saving. The creature concentrates. Sure. It's the trying to think. There's a what's the clause? Is it already to use this feature again? Who has? Oh. One of these subclasses has this clause. Yeah, can change that to explicitly drop con when they can't see you, but then that's the way to get rid of it. Yeah, pretty much I'm trying to have it so that the effect ends on this creature if you're no longer within line of sight at the start of their turn, or you use this feature on another creature. I think it's going to be if you use this feature again. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack using strength, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw, and if the saving throw fails, the creature concentrates on you for 1 minute as if concentrating on a spell. A creature that is concentrating on you cannot willingly drop concentration, does not need to make a saving throw to maintain concentration on dread as a result of taking damage while you are within line of sight. While concentrating on you, the creature has disadvantage on attack rolls. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack using strength, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw, and if the saving throw fails, the creature concentrates on you for 1 minute as it concentrated on a spell. A creature that is concentrated on you cannot willingly drop concentration and does not need to make constitution saving throws to maintain concentration on dread while you're within the line of sight. While it is concentrated on you, the creature has disadvantage on attack rolls. The effect ends on the creature if you're no longer within line of sight at the start of the turn, or if you use this feature again. The only thing, I think we covered the bases. I want to say we covered the bases. The only thing is this effect right here, the detriment. I'm wondering if just a movement detriment is fine. Because we are eating up their concentration. Yeah. Yeah, I think that one's better. I honestly think the movement's better. It's different too because not everybody cares about movement. Once returned for the I think that is a safer bet. Their movement is half. You're eating up their concentration, so this sucks against spellcasters. Yeah. So not really going to be able to get away. And even then, yeah, that's why the effects on the creature, the effects end on the creature if you're no longer with the line of sight. I'm trying to think, is if reading it right, that it's very clear. If we remove the wording. Yeah, so it plays into the playstyle of the Reaver, where they're kind of like a they're a frontliner. They're a debuffer, so we're not letting them get away. They're meant to kind of keep people locked in. That's part of their what I want them to be able to do. Also forcing the concentration bit is really, really good. Because now what we can do is say, because one of the things I wanted was a bleed effect, and now I can do a bleed effect for like the Blood Knight class or subclass, right? So at the start of their turn, they're concentrating, they take a d6 damage, right? Just because they're bleeding. Just want to, like, the reason I am trying to read this a certain way, right below. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack using strength, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw, and if the saving throw fails, the creature concentrates on you for 1 minute as if concentrating on a spell. A creature that is concentrating you cannot willingly drop concentration and does not need to make constitution saving throws to maintain concentration. As a result of taking damage while you are within the line of sight while it's concentrated on you, the creature's movement is halved. The effect ends on the creature if you're no longer within line of sight at the start of their turn, or if you use this feature again. I think it's okay to kind of keep this on here and this. Yeah, if you can put your suggestion there, because I want to see how it reads without it. I don't mind like doubling down and ensuring things have clarity. Once a return, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack using strength, you can force it to make a just need to change certain effects now. Because now we need to go back and look at Strike Fear. We'll look at this one. We need to look at this. Building corruption points to work better with Dreadblow now. Look at that. Highlighting all this. Any other fear effects? I'm liking this idea now. It kind of does solve an issue. We need to look at this. Pretty much. Yeah, JB. Yep. This is a Reaver. The Reaver. All right, let's going through the features really quick. I'll scroll back up right now. Whenever creature that is concentrating on you cannot willingly draw concentration, does not need to make constitution saving throws to maintain concentration as well. Okay, yeah, I agree. Let's get rid of that. Okay, this is thematic. I'm liking it. It does play better for subclass features. But now, since it's not causing fear, and it's way stronger. I think it's a lot stronger, but we have a lot of limiters. Let's move this. Okay, let's see. I just want to move this down. So we just don't lose an old version of Dread. Or Dreadblow. Okay. Okay, cool. Put that there. Just keep the old version around. Part of it too, like I'm kind of looking around, there could be some things that we switch around. Like this is such a good and strong feature that I wouldn't mind like just keeping it but moving it elsewhere too. We now have to figure out dark art to make sure we can generate enough corruption points. Oh, yeah, or remove curse. Okay, yeah, sure. We just need to put a clause in here that says it's a curse. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with the melee weapon, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw, and if the saving throw fails, a creature. Might need to add a curse clause somewhere. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with melee weapon, attack and force it to make it. No joke. I'm gonna straight up. Part of me wants to move Dreadblow to 2nd level and move Dark Arts and ill-gotten gains to 1st. Part of me wants to do that because this is more evocative of what we're kind of expecting to do in the class, right? Like, this feeds into exactly what the class is about. Yeah, that is true. It doesn't have DC. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're gonna go with my gut. I actually really like Dreadblood. We can still benefit off of a buff at 3rd level for the class feature, but I think we're better off in terms of narrative of what the class wants to do, which is gonna play into the Magus-esque Dark Knight trope. It's so much better to be at 1st level. Yeah. Okay. Fighting style, Dreadblood will come before fighting style. This is all. Wisdom save with the. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack using strength, you can force it to make a Wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. I'll look out something really quick. Let me move around some stuff. Look at gains. And we're still not going to have cantrips on this, I will say. We don't need cantrips. I think, yeah, okay. I will, for the sake of that, for an option, because I know people are going to ask for it anyway, that we'll have a cantrip fighting style. What the heck happened? This. Get us the goods. Yeah, we might as well. Fuck it. Fuck it. First level reader. Okay. Flavor text. Flavor text. Okay, we're good here. We don't need this. Okay, none. Building. When you successfully hit an enemy with an attack, drop a hostile creature to 0 hit points. It cause it to roll with disadvantage or creature begin. First by you gain a corruption point. Okay, casting spells. Ill-gotten gains. You sacrifice part of your life essence in exchange for power. As a bonus action, you spend a Reaver hit die and gain the maximum corruption points for your Reaver level. As shown, you ignore the negative effects of death. Okay. Yeah, this feels a lot better. Dreadblow is reminding me a lot of a kind of like a reckless attack-esque feature anyway. It's giving me that kind of vibes. So we'll put Dark Arts. Ill gains. No rest for the wicked. There it is. There we go. That feels so much better. Oh, I'm sorry. Dreadblow. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack using strength, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw. Saving throw. Creature's curse concentrating. All right, feeling better. We'll have to fix Strike Fear or remove it, and then Siphon Essence we also have to figure it out. Might be able to just leave those in, I'm gonna be honest. We'll see. We'll see with this. Level 5 will probably be the one that needs like the biggest tweaking now. Siphon Essence should be fine. When you critically hit or drop a creature cursed. You may reduce your current level of exhaustion by 1. Yeah. So I'm like, we might just get rid of Strike Fear, to be honest. Yeah. Because at 5th level, what are we getting? Extra attack. And we also get 2nd level spells. So Strike Fear, potentially you could just get rid of it. Since we're not really going to be like heavy on the fear effects now. And not have to worry about the fear clauses either. Yeah. What I'm going to do, I'm going to move it out of here. We'll still kind of keep things. And then we'll probably need to look at the Promised End because it has a fear clause anyway. So I don't like completely removing all this stuff because we might end up going back to it. So there might be that. Okay, here we go. Our strike blade being okay. Yeah, got new spells. I don't know how many I'm gonna add, but we're gonna have new spells. So, symbiotic. Okay. Yeah. Okay, promise end. Okay, actually, before I do this, let's make sure we remove stuff off here. Fighting dark arts, ill-gotten gains, no rest for the wicked, grim powers, fix that one. Strike fear, got rid of you. Okay. There we go. Okay, I like dark arts at the beginning. Yeah. Do you ignore the negative effects of exhaustion other than death? Dread blow once per turn when you hit a creature with a melee weapon. Forced to make it was a saving throw against creatures cursed to concentrating 1 minute. Creature that is concentrated. Oh. I like this. Might be another way around it. I'll keep thinking on it though, but I really like what we're trying to do here. I don't know, but something for me is like something's a little off. But we're gonna we'll figure it out. Scream endurance. Okay. You push yourself beyond your limit when you gain a level of exhaustion that would kill you. Instead of dying, you drop to 1 hit point and you gain the following benefits for 1 minute when you use this feature and at the start of each of your turns. Your temporary hit points equal to triple your current level of exhaustion. You emanate an aura of dread in a 30-foot radius the first time a creature enters the aura. Turn the creature must succeed on wisdom save throw or become frightened of you for 1 minute. Yeah. There, fixed it. Damage rolls against creatures frightened or cursed by you deal an extra damage equal to your current level of exhaustion. Okay, promised end. Okay. All right, I think that's gonna do it today. I think we're in a good spot. I like where Dreadblow is at now. Follow my gut and just moving dark arts and ill-gotten gains to first level makes me feel a whole lot better. Makes me feel a lot better. Another way to play this, and that would only get me to really rethink of moving dark arts and ill-gotten gains back, is if we can have some sort of rage-like mechanic state that incorporates the ignore negative exhaustion effect clause. Maybe if I can sit and think about that, and I can rethink how Dreadblue and all this stuff works again, because I think there is room for exploration of a way to incorporate the exhaustion mechanic clause without just making it unilateral, so that you're not completely ignoring exhaustion at certain points of the game. So there might be, I might figure something out. And if that's the case, then we can move things around and move things kind of back to where it was. We'll see. But until then, it's already going to be 2. I need to get some chores done. I'll be back Wednesday. We'll be back on Reaver. So yeah, we'll be back on some Reaver. I'm going to go work on a video after I get my chores done, and we should get a giant barbarian subclass video up. If you're on the Patreon, I have pretty much the audio up and ready to go for you. So if you just want to listen to it without seeing the full video so far, you can do that too right now. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. JP, thank you as always. Super helpful, bouncing ideas off. Thank you for coming in, JM. I know following was here. Nick, well, showed up. Steven, Rules and Rulings, Awesome Soul. I think that it was about everybody. On Violette, and then Gary for showing some love earlier today. You guys take care. Have a happy Sunday and have a good one. I will see you guys Wednesday night.